Hello, yogis. Namaste. So we're going to talk today a little bit about a very famous concept in yoga philosophy, and that it's the 8 limbs of yoga. The 8 limbs of yoga is a part of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Patanjali is an incredibly wise man who has lived thousands of years ago. And he wrote this book called the Sutra, it's called by us, the Sutras of Patanjali. It's a fantastic piece of work, and it has so much information for us. It has information on what is the practice of yoga, what are the territories in which we need to practice, what are the challenges that we are likely to encounter, and how can we deal with them in order to make our practice richer and profound and significant to us and to others. It's a fantastic piece of work. And the 8 limbs of yoga is maybe the most famous, the most known part of this work. And I think the first thing to remark is that he calls it the 8 limbs of yoga and not the 8 steps of yoga. So it is not meant as, this is the yamas, they are the first ones, and then it's a step, and when I have mastered this one, I'm going to climb to the next one. And then I'm going to master these, and I'm going to climb, and then when I achieve the last one, which is samadhi, enlightenment, then I'm done. And I've done everything that I need to do, and now I'm, better than everybody else. That's not exactly how he meant. He meant limbs of yoga, limbs as in limbs of a tree, like branches of a tree. They all exist simultaneously, and they actually coexist, and they are codependent on each other. So if you think that the very first limb is yamas, and yamas are all the things that we are supposed to restrain from doing, and it means a lot how we deal with the world, so we don't lie and we don't steal. Those very basic ethical behavior that we are supposed to cultivate if we are into this path of yoga, or cultivate pretty much as every human being. You're going to find the same ideas in most traditions, spiritual or philosophic tradition. So that's the very first limb. And the very last limb is samadhi, so enlightenment. And what Patanjali, I think, tries to tell us is that when you reach samadhi, let's say that we are lucky enough to achieve enlightenment in this lifetime, and you experience that, and it's fantastic, and then at a certain moment, it's going to withdraw a little, or it's going to fade a little, and, the next day you probably still have to go to work and be kind to others and talk to your neighbor and to your family or to your friends, and still you need not to steal and not to lie. So the ethical behavior and enlightenment, they have to coexist. It's not like you reach the top of the ladder and then you don't need to worry about anymore. You still need to cultivate. You still need, if you're still in a body, you still need to do asana. You still need to make sure your body your energies are circulating well, that you are healthy. You still need to breathe and make sure that you have some control over your breath and meditate. So there is a coexistence of all these limbs at the same time. I think that's the most important thing to do. They describe our practice in many different aspects of our practice, from the most exterior to the most internal. But they are all simultaneous. They all need to happen. We have to practice in all these levels at the same time. There is one more concept that it's important to understand when you're talking about the 8 limbs, and that's the concept of vritti. It also comes from Patanjali. And Patanjali describes yoga. He has actually a description of yoga, and he says yoga chitta vritti nirodha. That means yoga, it's translated in many different ways, but mostly it is translated as yoga is learning to control, learning to restrain the fluctuations, the distractions in the mind. And that's important because I think the 8 limbs of yoga, they are all the ways in which we learn to control these vrittis, these fluctuations. So all the stuff that our mind is producing all the time, all the thoughts, all the desires, all the analysis, all the judgments, all the stuff that we are constantly producing in our head, good or bad, it's called a vritti. And this description that Patanjali gives us, yoga chitta vritti nirodha, yoga is learning to contain, to restrain these constant fluctuations in the consciousness, in the mind. And the 8 limbs of yoga is learning to do that, to restrain these vrittis in all levels. So restraining from stealing, we're refraining from this vritti of I don't have enough. We are restraining from lying because you're restraining from this vritti of thinking that whatever the truth is not enough, that you need to cover that somehow. When we're doing pranayama, we are restraining from this vritti that we need to breathe all the time. When we're doing asana, we are restraining from the vritti that we just, want to be lazy and do whatever the body's doing. So in all the 8 limbs of yoga, we are learning to have some degree of control of our minds. The word control is a difficult word to use because it's not an aggressive, a violent control at all. It's the control of knowing yourself so well, of knowing your own patterns of behavior, of knowing your own vrittis, or knowing the ways that you tend to get distracted so well, and knowing where you want to go so well that you actually learn to, it's like pretty much like a horse, you learn to put a little rein on that vritti, on that distraction, and actually don't let it run away with you. Hold it here, so you hold that energy with you, and that energy is going to take you in the right direction. So I think that the 8 limbs of yoga, they are the 8 ways in which we learn to control our stubborn nature, our horse-like nature, if you want. Learn to put this rein of consciousness and energy to be able to guide it in a direction that we want to go. From the most simple, how we deal with others in the world, to the highest, how we translate our energy into transcendence and freedom. So I'm going to explore that in much more detail, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.